This video is sponsored by Wildlife Command Center Coffee. More about them at the end of the video. Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and I am back with another Dark Park Film Reviews. This is the third video, so 3 of 3 of my Deconstructing series. And the last one, video 3, is on rings. So the other 2 were Blair Witch and The Grudge. This is now on rings. And like on the other 2 videos, I'm going to be looking at my phone. I'm going to be looking at Wikipedia. I'm going to be looking at all my notes. So I'm going to be kind of darting all over the place, plus looking into the camera and all that. So, sorry if it gets confusing or distracting, but I have several sources that I'm looking at. So this is another one of those films that I liked, but it made money. Of course, is not as much money as the studio wanted. And so it was considered a failure. And even though the director of the new Grudge, the 2020 Grudge, has said that he would like to do a crossover between the Grudge and the Ring, that may or may not happen. Who knows? But I like this film. I don't think it's great. I have now watched it 4 times, and there is basically around the 50-minute mark is where I start to lose a little bit of interest. The thing that I like about this is that they did add in like modern technology. So when you watch the video, which is funny, is they do call it a video, even though in this, since they're using modern technology, it's a file. And at the very beginning of the film, when the professor starts to, in fact, let me get to that. So his name is Gabriel. So it's Professor Gabriel, and yeah. And so it's Gabriel Brown, but it's Professor Gabriel. And he is at like a swap meet. And which is funny is there's an extended scene, and then you could barely catch him. But Rick Baker is there. And he's the one who's actually talking to Gabriel. And, he's got his long hair and his beard and all that stuff, Rick Baker. So if you watch this, and it goes from that beginning, which I'm going to talk about in a second, on the plane, it cuts to a swap meet, and we see a young woman walking around, and that is Sky, and she's looking at this stuff. And as she walks into like this one kind of like tinted area, the camera goes right past Rick Baker. But before that, before she enters, she's actually talking to Gabriel, or he's talking to Gabriel. And we're getting a little bit, of dialogue from Rick Baker, which is pretty funny. They did cut that to just have her enter. It probably just flowed better from the previous scene. But it is on here, which is pretty funny. But we do get the VHS player. We get the VHS tape, which would look something like this. This is one that I made up for myself for a film that I'm going to be doing shortly, where I want to have a little kind of Ring Easter egg in it. But when Professor Gabriel brings the VHS player home, he fiddles with it, and this tape pops out. So that's pretty much the only time that we actually get to see the tape. Otherwise, it's files. So it's funny that they keep saying, oh, well, it's a video. I mean, technically it is, but it's really a file that they're moving around throughout the film. It's also really nice that when somebody does watch the video, I'm just going to call it video because that's what they call it in the film, is that it can be watched on computer screens. It can be watched on like a monitor, or a TV monitor. It can be watched on a cell phone. And I mean, I think that's pretty cool to have that weird Ring video pop up, that you watch, and then it's 7 days afterwards just on your phone. So, you have in the movie where our lead, who's Julia, she's just watching it on her phone. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I liked that they brought the Ring into more modern times. There are some questions that, like when Julia does watch the video, how the phone call comes through the motel phone and not her cell. So I don't know, maybe it ended up on her cell phone, but it's muted. And so it went through the motel phone. So it does kind of have modern technology along with, like just regular, just telephones and stuff like that. The things that I didn't really like around the 50-minute mark is when they go to, and I believe it's called Pleasantville. Oh no, Pleasantville. Sacrament Valley, wherever I got Pleasantville from. Probably the Monkeys. Well, that's Pleasant Valley Sunday. I don't know where I got Pleasantville, but see, that's why I write stuff down. That's why I take notes. Sacrament Valley. At that point, it gets less technology and kind of goes a little more old school. And I lost a little bit of interest in it at that point, even though I do like the film quite a bit. I always enjoy the stuff before that. So before I really get into everything, let's look at the Blu-ray. So like I held up before, this is the Blu-ray of it. It is a Blu-ray DVD digital HD combo set. And it does say a thrilling return to franchise roots. And that's from Business Insider. There's its side and the back. So disc 1 is the Blu-ray feature film and special features. And there's 14 deleted extended scenes, including an alternate ending, which is kind of interesting if they ever planned on continuing the series. It's an alternate ending, but it's actually cut. So what we're seeing is an extended alternate ending. Then there's Terror Comes Full Circle, Resurrecting the Dead, Bringing Samara Back, Scary Scenes, and then disc 2 is the DVD feature film. This is really dark on the back here. That was not the right thing to do. If they were going to do that, then they should give a better font like red or green or something, maybe blue, since there's a lot of blue, as you can see. Blue, maybe use that for the writing, but man, yeah, there's no way of seeing that. But this was 2017. It's 102 minutes, a little long, and it's PG-13. I guess that's okay. I mean, there's really no blood. It's more of just bodies all, like that. And it's a 2-disc set. So it's, and it includes a digital HD UV, which is ultraviolet. Watch it anywhere or watch on iTunes. Instantly stream and download. The inside is like this. And here is this is it for the digital copy. Now, this is better, even though it's boring. At least Blu-ray, DVD, Blu-ray, DVD. It, even though they're exactly the same thing, basically. This does say digital down here, DVD down there. Blu-ray, DVD. Otherwise, the same pretty much. DVD only has the film on it, while the Blu-ray does have the special features. So other things that I have from this series, I found this at, I want to say Goodwill. And this is the VHS of it, which at the time I felt was really the only way to at least watch the original Ring was on VHS. Seemed appropriate. And this is cool because it has a clear case. And it says, before you die, you see the Ring. And then, so good, it's scary. And that's from the San Francisco Chronicle. There's Naomi Watts screaming. And the side looks like that. And then I'll flip it. Looks like that. It's the same. Yeah, same on both sides. There's the top. And the back looks like that. And then there's the tape that slides in and out. So you got a description of the film here. Some pictures here. So there's Naomi Watts watching the cursed video. There's Samora. There's Naomi Watts with, I guess that's the, I don't know his name, but that's the father of the child in the movie. And then she's holding a VHS tape. Down here's giving you like the time and everything, you know, an hour, 55 minutes, color. Oh, this sucks. Well, it's VHS, so I don't doubt it, but it says, excuse me, this film has been modified from its original version. It has been formatted to fit your TV. My coffee mug today, I will show this to you, is Kiss Army. Shout it out loud. I'm a Kiss fan. I have two Kiss mugs. The other one is from the Kiss Mini Golf Course that is out here. So I bought that coffee mug, and then I bought this coffee mug while I was there too. So I am part of the Kiss Army. I have been since, I don't know, maybe like 10, something around there, 12, somewhere. So this is, like it says, it's been formatted to fit your TV. So it's it's matted. It's not widescreen. So widescreen, you know, you'd be looking at it this way, getting the entire picture. Full screen is like this, where you're going to be missing all the side parts. So you're just getting the middle. And then what they do is they take the video camera and they pan to whatever action is in the movie. This is very noticeable on VHS versions of like Jaws and Ghostbusters. Since the characters are all standing in a row constantly, the camera pans back and forth to get everybody in the frame, or they'll cut out one character. In Ghostbusters, it's Ernie Hudson. Sadly, they normally keep it on the three main guys, and in Jaws, they'll keep the camera normally on you know, like Hooper, Quint, and Brody. And then they'll just kind of pan it back and forth as the dialogue happens. So that's what's happening here. And then just on the back here, they got down here all the credits. So I think this is cool. I would probably pick up a second copy of it just to have it. This is plastic. It would probably at some point start to fade or maybe pop apart because it is put together right here. But I think this is kind of cool. This is kind of fun. I mean, you should watch The Ring on VHS. But with that being said, I also have, put that over here. This DVD, it's a 3-movie collection that has all the movies in it. Even though I do have Rings on Blu-ray, which is the way I always watch it, is Blu-ray. I did pick this up because I found this used at Zia Records, and it's all 3 movies. I think maybe it was around $7.99, so I picked it up. Rings being the main movie, and then The Ring, and then The Ring 2. This, it says unrated version, which is nice. That's one reason why I picked it up. And there's the side. There you go. And here's the back. So for this, it looks like they don't list any special features for Rings, but in the red here, those are the special features for the Ring and Ring 2. So in the order that are on the box here, the Ring 2 unrated says loaded with chilling scenes and features. This special unrated edition of the Ring 2 takes you beyond anything you've seen in theaters. The special features are Walter Parks introduces Rings, and then Rings, which we're going to talk about in a second here because it's a different Rings. There's actually two versions of Rings. Then there's Face the Fear, the cast, Fear on Film, special effects, Samara, an eye to icon, because she's got the hair all on the one eye. So where am I looking there? Eye. The Power of Symbols, HBO First Look, the making of the Ring 2, deleted scenes and production notes. So that's got a fair amount of stuff on it. And then the Ring, it just says, don't watch, special features, don't watch this. And I did click on it, and it just seems like it's a scene from a movie. Maybe it's a deleted scene. I haven't seen Ring and Ring 2 in a long time. And with all three of these videos, I tried not to go back and actually watch, like, Blair Witch, and then Shadows of Blair Witch 2. Then for Grudge, I tried not to watch the original 3. And then with Rings, I didn't want to watch Ring and Ring 2. I just wanted to really focus on one film. And these are all, so Rings is PG-13, the Ring 2 is unrated, and the Ring is rated PG-13. They are presented in their widescreen format, so the bars at the top and the bottom of the screen are normal. Oh, here's the inside. So this I like. They're not just all packed on one disc. They're boring discs, but at least you get the Ring is on its own disc, and then the Ring on its own disc, and then Ring 2 on its own disc. And I try to keep them the way that the cover is. So the very first DVD is Rings, the second DVD is The Ring, and the third DVD is The Ring 2. But here they do it backwards. Here they start with the newest movie and then go down to the oldest movie. I have seen, not all, because there's just way too many of them, the Asian versions of the Rings, and I know that there's a couple different countries that actually made versions of the Ring. So I've only seen like the first few, but I haven't really gone past that. I did see the crossover of Ring meets Grudge, or I think it's like Ring versus Grudge. I thought it was really boring, and the ending of it where the ghost girl from Grudge meets up with Samara was not really interesting. So I don't know. If I could find a box set with all of them, I'd probably buy it, but I don't know, just to have them. But the one thing is that I mentioned that there's two versions of Rings is, let me find these notes here. I made notes on these. Oh, I did this. So, okay, so this is it. So these are them right here. So this, I found this a long time ago. I sold it and then I bought it back again. This is interesting because it's Rings, the Circle of Fear is growing. Here's the side. And here's the back. So this is a promo DVD of a short film called Rings. It runs about 15 minutes. And it's from 2014 is when this. So I think, no, I'm sorry. Rings came out, the feature length version came out 2014. This came out 2005. So there was The Ring, American version, and then there was this, and then there was The Ring 2, American version. So, excuse me, this short film is in between the two movies. And it says, A New Journey into the Secrets of the Ring. And what it has is Rings, exclusive short film, thrill-seeking teens, a mysterious videotape, a journey into the unthinkable. This exclusive short film uncovers the terrifying secret connection between The Ring and The Ring 2. Then there's Cursed Videos, the 3 deadly cursed videotapes featured in The Ring 2, and the internationally cult hit Ring U. Oh, maybe I didn't write this down. Then there's the origin of terror, the phenomenon of urban legends, and never before seen interviews with the stars and filmmakers. So this is basically, it's like the cursed videos. This is basically just the cast and crew. I think they're all interviews for the first film, if I remember correctly, just talking about the films or talking about urban legends or talking about the film itself. I mean, they're fluff pieces, basically. But this, which is available on YouTube, I'll include the link to it down below. This is interesting because what it is that it kind of becomes like the Ring videotape is like a game. And it's these, I don't know, teenagers, maybe early 20s, young people they're trying to get to day 7. And what this introduces is things like hallucinations, that they start freaking out. So day 1, they're pretty normal. Like day 3, they start to see maybe like a fly or something. You know, day 5 is when they start to hallucinate and start to see really fucked up shit. And nobody has made it to day 7 and recorded it, basically, because they record all these things. And they're trying to get to day 7. So they find this guy, they set him up, and they want him to record his death so they could see what it's like on day 7. And 7, I noticed in the feature version of Rings, is a big deal. So we got day 7, the lab where like all of the college kids are in this experiment is on the 7th floor. So 7 seems to be a number that, I mean, I guess that we use for luck. But in these films, it's not lucky, I guess. But 7 is kind of a big deal. And this guy has to basically try to find somebody to be a tail. And a tail is introduced in these because you watch the video, you make a copy of it, and then you send it to somebody else, and then they watch it. You're fine. You're good. But they have to then they have to find a tail. So then they have to do the same thing, you know, watch the video, make a copy of it, and then find somebody to watch it for them. And this kind of goes, it's like this loop that goes on and on and on and on. And I could not find anything, because it's different filmmakers who make this short. I couldn't find anything on how, if they went back and said, we want to do a Rings reboot, kind of a sequel reboot, but we don't have an idea. But there is this short 15-minute film called Rings that we can expand and have it, you know, just take place after part 2. And because part 1 and 2, even though they do exist in Rings, the feature version, they're not really, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, they're not really talked about. And so that they then took this, like I said, I don't know why. I don't really know. I'm glad they did, because when I watched this, when I first bought this, I thought, oh, this is interesting. I've never seen this before. And but the first time I bought it was used, second time it was used. And I took it home and I watched it and I thought, oh, wow, this would make a great movie, like a feature length film, or even a TV series or a web series or something. If they kind of started, like, if there was a room and people would be in it and they would basically, like, it would be a game. And this is something I could see millennials totally doing, kind of like the whole Tide Pod thing, that you would put your life at risk, to, get those views for TikTok or Instagram or something like that. When I originally saw this, of course, all that stuff didn't exist. But when I rewatched it, that's pretty much when I thought all that stuff, I always thought this would be interesting as a full-length film and a TV show. But then when I rewatched it, I thought, oh, I think this would probably work better as maybe like a web series or something like that. So that kind of brings things into this, which I really wish I could just find some information on how this was turned into this. But I just can't seem to figure it out. So if anybody knows, let me know. Maybe I just missed an article or a video, but I did look. Yeah, so this is kind of the same idea. Let me see here, because I'm looking at Wikipedia. So it was originally called The Ring 3D, and they changed it to Rings. Yeah, so it doesn't even say on Wikipedia, but so this basically with this is that it's well, before I get into like the story of this, I want to look at the extras, because the best thing about the other two videos, Blair Witch and The Grudge, are the special features. There was really some great special features. This is a really great Blu-ray. If you're going to get the movie, get it on Blu-ray, watch it on Blu-ray. Great picture, great sound, especially if you got surround like I do. It's well directed, it's well edited, it's well acted. It's the best way to see it is that way. I mean, this is a really nice disc. So I mentioned the Rick Baker cameo, which is in the deleted scenes. It does show that little extra bit of him there, which I love. There is one called Terror Comes Full Circle. That's 12 minutes and 37 seconds. So that has in it, let's see. No, I didn't write down what that was. So that's 12 minutes and 37 seconds. Then, that might just be a fluff piece, which is why I really didn't write anything down. There's Resurrecting the Dead, Bringing Samara Back. That's 9 minutes. And, I didn't write down any of the descriptions. My bad. So, okay, so just Terror Comes Full Circle is 12 minutes and 37 seconds. Resurrecting the Dead, Bringing Samara Back is 9 minutes and 19 seconds. Scary scene. So Resurrecting the Dead, that's the actress that plays Samara, and she is that's Bonnie Morgan, and she was in Rings 2 and now in Rings. She has really curly red hair, and she's a contortionist, which is why they wanted to use her in this film. So a lot of the stuff that you think is CGI with Samara is not. It's just her bending her arms backwards and legs backwards and forwards and everything. It's kind of crazy. So she gets into that, and she even shows us contortioning that she does. So that's kind of cool. Scary scenes are the cast and crew discussing what they think are the scary scenes from the film. And then there's deleted, extended, alternate scenes. There's 14 of those. That has the Rick Baker cameo and the kind of odd alternate extended ending. That's 18 minutes and 40 seconds. The alternate ending, I'll bring that up again when I talk about just the story for Rings. I did bring up tail because I wrote here, people have to watch the video or VHS, and then they find a tail to save your life. There is in, so this is one of the deleted scenes that I thought was interesting. There's a subplot of Julia, who's the main character, of her mom being sick, and that's deleted. I think it's 2 scenes, and that's just gone. Her dad did die in a car accident. So, and Julia is supposed to be like college age. So they completely cut out the mother thing. I don't think they bring up her dad's death either. So all that's missing. So she just kind of lives in this big house by herself, I guess. I'm not sure how the bills are paid. And then the other one is the alternate ending is Julia becoming Samara. And I'll get more into that. Almost kind of like what they did with Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, where at the end, Jamie is supposed to be the new Michael Myers, like he's transferred his spirit into her body. But the extras are pretty cool. They're not bad. I really wish it would have had audio commentary. It doesn't. So at the beginning of this, I think is a great beginning. I mean, it is a great beginning. But it's too short. They should have made it longer. It's the airplane scene where the guy is, he's on the airplane. There's like, he's like a good looking guy. He's got the, there's the cute girl, and she starts talking to him, and he says, "Have you heard about this tape?" And there's thunder, there's lightning, there's turbulence, and he gets up and his nose starts bleeding, and he runs to the bathroom and or restroom, because there is a difference between a restroom and a bathroom. So I correct myself. He runs to a restroom, and another girl, I think she wakes up and she's like, "What was going on?" And then the girl that was talking to the guy tells her friend, he was talking to me about this movie that kills people. And the friend kind of freaks out. And then she runs to the restroom, knocks on the door. The guy answers it. And she's like, "Did you make a copy? Did you make a copy?" And he's like, no, I didn't. And that's when everything starts. And it's great when you can see inside the cockpit and you see like the radar screen and some of the other screens that the pilots look at. And they all show that the well all grainy and all kind of messed up. And you start to see like Samara come out of the well. And, we see the black kind of oozy water come out of the cockpit and go onto the floor and kind of surround the guy. Excuse me. And then we see Samara and they do the eye thing, and then it cuts to, I think they say like 2 years later. And that I love that scene, except it should have been longer. There's chaos throughout the plane, which is great. And nobody knows what's going on. And on the back of all the passenger seats are the TVs, that they could just watch movies on. And that all turns to the cursed video. And we're seeing Samara. And I mean, how great would it have been if she got out from the cockpit and then just went from one side of the plane, just all down that aisle, one side all the way to the other end, as this guy's like freaking out and throwing people in front of him and doing stuff like that. I mean, it would have been a really nice kind of extended, kind of like pre-credit sequence that I just thought was way too freaking short. That to me was so disappointing. And that was kind of the focus of the trailer. was that scene. And that's what really made me interested in the movie. When I heard that they were making a part 3, I was kind of like, all right, okay. I like Grudge better. I like Pulse better than Ring, but I can maybe see a third one. And when the trailer came out, that scene of him, in the plane looked great, and it made me all excited. And it was, not really that long. So I just think it should have been longer. It just, but is what it is. What are you going to do? What's interesting is when we then cut to the, like that swap meet, and the professor Gabriel is talking to Sky. There's like retro is brought up, and let me see, did I write it down? Cockpit, plane, 2 years later, VHS. Okay, I did write it down. So Sky says that the VHS player is outdated junk, and then the professor says, I prefer vintage. If you watch the first episode of the new Chucky series, there's a yard sale, and the lead kid finds the Chucky doll. And there is a very similar scene where they do discuss the same type of thing of retro or vintage or out of date or whatever it is. It's a very similar scene that I thought was weird, that the dialogue is different, but the scene is the same. And I don't know if that's intentional or not, or maybe if the creator of Chucky didn't realize it. I don't know. But it was kind of weird that these two things were very similar in how they handled themselves. So you have, we start with the plane. The plane goes down. 2 years later, we're then at this swap meet, which then goes to, and then of course when Gabriel, that's when he gets the videotape, he takes it back to his house, he has sex with Sky, and then he gets the videotape out, and then she leaves and he watches the videotape. That then cuts to Julia, who's the main character, and Holt, who's her boyfriend, and they're talking more or less about him going off to college and how she's, stuck at home. We then go to, excuse me. Let's see here. Updated text, professor, apartment. Basically, Julia can't get a hold of Holt. She doesn't know what's going on. They were communicating. They're desperate to see each other. And he kind of gets dragged off to this party on the 7th floor. So this is the first time I think that we really hear of 7. And then she's really bummed by it. And she can't get a hold of Holt. And then Sky calls her saying, do you know where Holt is? She kind of demands, do you know where is this? Where is he? And she doesn't go. And this is when Julia is packing, that's when we see some of the deleted stuff of she's there with her mom and stuff like that. The film works much better without this subplot, because it makes her look really kind of shitty, just leaving her dying or sick or whatever, mother, to go find what happened to her boyfriend. This is your mother that you're talking about. She does ask a friend to keep, to look in on her, but still, I mean, that's weird. And my big problem with Julia is she seems to be very self-absorbed. It's the actress, who I think is beautiful. She even mentions that she's Italian, and I'm Italian. So I probably think that's why she's so beautiful. But it's funny, is her eyebrows are perfectly groomed, perfectly groomed. And it's almost distracting because they are just edged perfectly. They're not rounded. They're done at a point. And my eye kept going to her eyebrows, and which I thought was really weird because nobody else looks like that in the film. But her character seems to be somebody who is a know-it-all. She seems to be a little self-absorbed. Um, I understand that she loves Holt, that she loves her boyfriend, but there's the thing with her dad that is missing. There's then of course the stuff with the mom, and she seems to think that she knows better than everyone. And for the rest of the film, everything is her fault. If she had just left things alone, Gabriel would have found Holt a tail, because we find out that building on that, the seventh floor in this building, it's kind of like a, I don't know, in the behind the scenes, they talk about like it's like an abandoned building that the professor took it over. It's a pretty cool kind of retro looking, very square kind of 50s looking building. And I actually love the design of it. And on the seventh floor of this is this almost what we've seen Google look like kind of behind the scenes, is that there's, sofas and video games and TV, and people are drinking, and they're not that Google drinks, but it's this whole party atmosphere, I guess, to get people to watch the video. And then, how long can they go? And then they get the tail, and then they don't die on day 7. And so I guess it's Gabriel kind of manipulating people into doing it by giving them this party atmosphere, and hey, isn't this cool to do? Don't be a loser, come and watch the video. And which is odd that nobody would really know of this. I mean, I guess all these kids that are in there, well, they're not kids, they're young adults, they're in college, and that nobody has said anything. Like the campus hasn't gotten wind of this. You would think that maybe they're hearing, oh yeah, well, this professor he's doing this experiment, and he's giving us alcohol, and we just have to watch this video, and theoretically it's supposed to kill us in 7 days. And you would think somebody that's in some sort of authority on campus would be like, whoa, wait a minute, they can kill you? What are you talking about? And so Julia, meets up with, she gets the call from Sky. Like I said, she ends up going to the campus. She meets up with Gabriel, who pretty much ignores her because he doesn't want to get her, involved, or he just doesn't want the secret out. She follows him. There is kind of it's almost kind of a David Cronenberg type shot. And I love Cronenberg, so I thought it was kind of cool, where she exits this elevator, and down this long hallway is this TV, and it's like on this table, and it's recording her as she's walking towards it. The weird thing is there are copies of Professor Gabriel's, I don't know, experiment or thesis or something. And that to me is weird, because if you can somehow get up there, you have to use a special key. But if you get the key like she did, go up, and you see this work, this kind of binder that has all of his work in it, you can take that to some sort of authority on campus and be like, look, this is what he's doing. So it's kind of weird that these things are just sitting out for people to read. That, like if you're already on the 7th floor, you already know what's going on. At least to maybe 90% of what's going on. And so she follows, Gabriel up there, and she sees Sky, and Sky is desperate because she's coming up like on her last day, which is the present in the film. And she's freaking out because she doesn't have a tail. And Gabriel kind of pulls her off to the back and says, don't worry, I'll find you someone, calm down. And Julia sees all the pictures up on the wall, like all the faces that are all messed up, that they're going through the experiment now. So like if a camera was put on them, their face would be all out of focus and messed up. And there's pictures of them with their names. And so she sees Holt. And Sky freaks out, and Julia follows her down to the car. And Sky thinks, hey, wait a minute, this is a good way that I can, get somebody to watch the tape who doesn't even know about it. And so Sky takes Julia back to the house, and it's too late. That's when, Samara shows up. And I think this is great. So the alarm goes off. Sky's like, fuck you, bitch. I made it. And then all the lights go out, which is funny that Samara always waits to like the last second to kill somebody. Why not surprise them and go a minute early? But okay. So the lights go out, everything's getting kind of chaotic. And she like throws her phone down. She the computer screen down. And then we see the cursed video and Samara getting out of the, out of the well. And Sky pushes the TV over, hoping that she broke it. This is one of my favorite scenes in the film, and which is where Samara basically gets her hands underneath the TV and lifts it up. And it's like, I don't know, 30-inch TV, something like that, maybe bigger, maybe, it could be bigger, 40-inch something, and lifts it up and crawls out from the TV set. And I think this is a great scene, and visually it looks great. And it's just bringing in modern technology helps so much. And Julia's already run to the bathroom. She's locked herself in. Sky is freaking out and, of course, dies. And then Samara is, and this, I don't know if this is something kind of near the end. It's kind of foreshadowing is Samara is at the bathroom, which has a frosted glass on it on top. And so we could see her standing outside, but, she's just all in dark. And she's trying the door, and Julia is freaking out. And then the door just kind of opens and Samara's not there anymore. Julia walks out and sees, the dead body of Sky. So we got some really good, there's some really good stuff in there. And she finds, Holt shows up, and then they're reunited, and he explains what's going on, and she doesn't really understand it. And this is another thing I don't understand. So there's a laptop. They get a hotel room, and there's a laptop. And sitting right on the laptop is a thumb drive right there. And she wakes up, Holt's sleeping, and she watches the video. And the phone rings, the motel phone rings. And of course it says, 7 days. And that's when Holt, wakes and realizes that she watched the video. He calls Gabriel, and then Gabriel says, well, I'm going to find somebody for you. Don't worry about it. I'll get you somebody ASAP. And Holt's like, it's no longer for me, meaning it's now for Julia. So for the rest of the film, so Julia has 7 days from that moment on. And then the ending of the movie, I'm guessing, is the 7th day, because her nose starts to bleed, just like the guy on the airplane, just like Sky. I mean, they all seem to have nosebleeds on their final day. And this is kind of where I wish that they incorporated more of the short film rings, and where they brought in like these hallucinations, where they brought in the, we're going to try to get to 7 days and have somebody film their death, that it's more of a game. From here is they don't really do much of that anymore. They do a couple things. When Julia picks up the phone and Samara says 7 days, it burns, the handle of the phone burns into her hand. And at first it makes like a burn mark. Later we find out that it's Braille, which is weird. And, why Braille out of all things? Why not just make a word? Like the scar slowly turns into a word. But I don't know, maybe it's for the priest later on, the blind priest, because when he touches her hand, he realizes it's Braille and most likely can read that Braille. And it ends up saying rebirth. But they go to, so Holt and Julia end up at Gabriel's place, where he scans the hand and makes like a copy of it, of the bottom of the hand with the braille. And they talk about the mark is happening faster. It's now on day 1 with Julia. Mine didn't happen until day 5. And then Gabriel's like, yes, maybe it is happening faster. Now, I haven't seen, like I said, I didn't watch The Ring or Ring 2. And I haven't watched all of the original Ring movies. So I don't know. Was this something in the original Ring movies? Was this in the first 2 films? And I just don't remember it. But I don't remember there being a mark. I just remember that they had 7 days. They could copy the video, have somebody watch it, and they're good. So I don't know this mark. And the mark seems to be special to Julia. So they end up, Gabriel has her watch the video again because they try to make a copy of the video, and it's a larger video than Holt's. So there's new stuff added to Julia's video. And she goes through it and describes some of the scenes that are in there where Gabriel then says, those weren't in the original. Those were added. It looks like they're added just for you. Now, the weird thing is Holt has to turn around. And I'm guessing Gabriel is not watching the screen either. So if you watch the video, you make the copy, you have somebody else watch it, and the curse is gone from you. It's now passed on to somebody else. If you watch the video again, do you get cursed again with the 7 days? Or if you watch it, the curse is gone, and then you watch it again, are you fine? Because that would be weird. One, why would you watch it a second time? But he does turn, and I'm assuming that's what it means. We're never really told that. If you do watch it a second time, you're recursed, I guess. But she describes these things, and one of the things that she notices is like a church tower. And on Gabriel's wall are all of these drawings and photos and newspaper articles. And she goes over and says, that's where we need to go. That's the church I saw in my visions, because they're not hallucinations. She calls it a vision. And according to the short film Rings, is the hallucinations start small on day 1 and they get really bad by day 7. There are no visions, they're hallucinations. So I'm guessing that all the other people are having them too, because Holt does take video of like a giant centipede on the wall, and he shows it to her, and it's obviously not on the wall. It's his hallucination, but he was able to record the hallucination to able to show it to her. So I'm guessing the hallucinations are still there, but nobody is having visions. Like I said, they're just hallucinations, I guess. So I thought that was kind of strange. There's also a cool shot of, because visually this film is very nice looking. There's actually a shot inside the professor's house, or apartment, or whatever you want to call it, because it's in this weird building. So I guess an apartment. And he's looking out these giant windows. I think there's like 3 of them, and it's raining outside. So visually it looks really nice. But he notices by himself, and I think this is before he meets with Julia, but after he watches the tape, is the rain is coming down, then it flips and the rain starts going upwards. I guess starting his hallucinations. And it's a pretty cool scene, because in the behind the scenes on this, they show that his window is just a giant green screen. And obviously, the rain was added in later so they could have it come down or go up. So, but it's a pretty cool scene. I like, visually, I really like it. So what do I got here? And to go back just a little bit, there is a really nice shot of when Holt is leaving for college and he's saying goodbye to Julia. Holt's dad is loading the car, which is like a hatchback, with luggage. And the camera starts inside, and we see all this luggage, and there's just this little area there. Oh, there's my cat. Look, there's Boris. Can I see Boris's tail? There's Boris's tail. Now, Boris, I'm making a video. Come on, you can't be on this. Come on. I'm going to move this over. Sorry, Kate. I'm sorry. They like to hop up here when I'm here. But and it's a, there's like this much room and the rest of it's like, just completely full of luggage. And he ends up taking this, you can see Boris's tail right there going past me. And he takes this kind of like rectangle shaped piece of luggage and just shoves it in the hole. And then that cuts to outside and the camera pulls back a little bit. He closes the door and then that cuts to the actor. It's a nice shot. It's well edited. I like it. It shows how much luggage is in the car. It's a static shot, but it's moving thanks to the editing. And so I really enjoyed that. I thought that looked really good. I said, yeah, long shot down the hallway where we get to see the TV. Sky pulls the TV on top of her. Samara comes out of the TV. Julie watches the tape. There's another hallucination with Julie where she sees a bird that hits the window of the car, and it's kind of on the ground, all crippled. Only she could see it, and then it disappears. Holt does not see it at all. This is, and then the bird ends up being on the cursed video. So that brings me to like Julia being, marked, with her hand with the braille. Julia has visions, not hallucinations, but yeah, maybe she has a little bit of both. There's the old video that we know from like the first two films, but now of course that combines with new video from Julia. 50-minute mark, it becomes less interesting when they go to Sacrament Valley. And that is really for me where it kind of stops being a little interesting. I really would have liked it if they just would have continued with TV monitors and computers and cell phones. Like I said, like this game that they're playing. Because once Sky dies, people know that Sky died, and the professor tells Holt that everybody is dropping out of the program. So he's having a hard time finding Holt a tail. And which I thought was kind of weird is, so nobody has died on this. Not one person has died. It doesn't explain how long he's been doing this. Maybe it's only, I don't know, a month, a couple weeks, who knows? But he had to basically create that entire 7th floor that has all of the games and the sofas, and I think they're, playing pool or something, and they're drinking. He had to create all that, on his own. And so that had to take some time and money for this experiment. So nobody in this period of time has died. Everybody has successfully found a tail, done what they need to do, and then there's no cursed video on them. And then the same thing happens to the next person. So Sky was the very first person to have this happen. And that to me sounds weird. You would think that, these are college students, and I've never been to college, so I'm kind of generalizing here, but with the partying and the drinking and the studying and the classes and all this type of stuff, if somebody has to work, to pay tuition or whatever, you may forget that you need a tail. Maybe, last time you looked, you had 2 days, and now you look at your watch, it's like, oh shit, I only have 5 minutes left. So it's kind of hard for me to imagine that only Sky is the one who died, and now everyone is dropping out. I'm just not buying that. I thought that was kind of weird. Professor Gabriel does say that, at some point that the police are coming to that, to his place. And even though he says, well, he technically didn't kill Sky, he did. And then he packs up all of his stuff, and then he, we assume that he gets into like a car and leaves. And that's after Julia and Holt do. And then they end up going to Sacrament Valley. One of the things that I like that Julia does pretty much from like that moment on is that she does watch, trying to get clues from the cursed video that is on her cell phone. Maybe they dragged the video from Gabriel's computer to her cell phone, and that's how she can now watch it. That would really suck if somebody actually picked up her phone and started watching the video by mistake. But so she can watch it. And let me see here. I took a picture. I thought that just looked kind of cool. I don't really want to get out of what I'm in. So I'm going to skip it. So it's hard to see anyways, but I took a picture on screen of her looking at it on her phone. I just thought it looked kind of cool, but I have something on my phone that I don't want to lose. So she's watching it on her phone, and she does this twice. And I think that that's pretty cool. Then we got, and then that brings her to Sacramento Valley. So I'm going to stop there for a moment. And I want to look at, excuse me. So let me go back here. Okay, so go back. Okay, there's the Ring. So Ring 2002, this is the American version. Oh, it's funny. There's actually a picture here of, where did I put it? Of my VHS tape, and the picture is like that, and it says "Go back in." It doesn't say "Go back in." I say "Go back in." There we go. It says here a VHS copy of The Ring. A VHS copy of The Ring. They're referring to the picture. This is the 2003 release with the clear plastic sleeve. This VHS copy also includes the cursed video before the previews. So, excuse me, might be another one coming. So The Ring, it's 155 minutes. Like I said, 2002. Its budget was $48 million. And it made, its box office was, so 48 million. So its budget, what it made at the box office was 249 million point, I'm sorry, I'd say this again, 249.3 billion. So 249.3 million. So it made some money. I mean, Ring was a big hit, as we know. Then Ring 2, and that's 2005. It's 110 minutes. So its budget was 50 million. Let me see. Oh, so they got 2 million more to make the sequel. And its box office was 161.9 million. Now, for Rings, which is 2017, it runs 102 minutes. So its budget was 25 million. Wow, that's really hacked. Maybe that's why the second half of the film is the way it is. And its box office was 83.1 million. So kind of like Blair Witch and The Grudge, the movie made money. You know, it made money. It made back its budget. It did twice the amount that its budget was for. But yet, once again, and I said this on the other films, that it's, the studio wants, not a million, it wants a billion. If it can't get a billion, then it wants 90 million. It wants 80 million. It wants 60 million. It's, whatever it might be. And in this, the box, it made 83.1 million. Like I said, it's twice over its budget. So if the director of this wants to combine The Ring and Grudge together, or the director of The Grudge wants to combine the two, why not? But just people don't seem to like Blair Witch, The Grudge, or Rings. It's really bizarre, but yet the film made money. It made money, just maybe not what the studio wanted. But it's not Star Wars, it's not Marvel. You're not going to get those numbers with Rings, or The Grudge, or Blair Witch. You're not going to get it. So that to me was interesting. The original Ring franchise, and this is the Japanese one, and of course other countries did their versions of it too. There is so much. There's novels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 novels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 comic books. Then these are films and television. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 13 films, and that explains why I haven't seen them all. The short film Rings. Then there was the TV series called Ring: The Final Chapter, and then another one called Raisin. 2 video games, 2 radio programs. I'm sorry, 3 radio programs. And then a bunch of soundtracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 soundtracks. So this is huge. I mean, yeah, it's weird that they've, I guess, just, people will give money to go see it and then just bust on it so they don't make any more. Now, the one thing that did confuse me is kind of the timeline of Samara, that from, and I really didn't want to sit down because I didn't want to put this video off any longer. How does The Ring, Ring 2, and Rings fit all together with Samara? And so I did my research, and so what it says here is background. Samara was born to a woman named Evelyn. Okay, so Evelyn is in Rings. Her father was a priest named Burke, who held Evelyn captive in the dungeon of the church. He raped Evelyn. He raped Evelyn when she was 8 months pregnant, and she fled to the hospital run by nuns. And it's Vincent D'Onofrio who plays Burke, who plays he's watching over the cemetery. He's blind, or made himself blind. And then, but he was the priest at the church. And in the church, there was like the little dungeon room that's now full of water. When Julia sees these kind of visions or flashbacks, it is a jail, but it's good looking. It's nice. There's sofas, chairs, beds, all that type of stuff. It's just a prison for somebody to never get out of. So he didn't impregnate her. So Burke raped Evelyn when she was 8 months pregnant, and she fled to the hospital run by nuns. And we see on the wall in this underground kind of dungeon thing that Evelyn has written name for her child, crossed it out, and it goes down a few, and then it says Samara. And that's where Julia realizes that Evelyn is the mother of Samara. Says, let's see, after struggling with the pain of childbirth, she gave birth to Samara, but found that her baby would not cry. Samara apparently told her that a demon was born inside her, and the only way to be rid of it was to drown her in the pond outside. Whether or not this was Evelyn's own psyche or Samara's powers telling her to do this remains unknown. A nun spotted Evelyn attempting to drown Samara and led a group of nuns to stop her. Samara was to be adopted all the while Evelyn was to be sent to a mental home. So either in Evelyn's head, she's so messed up that she thinks that Samara is saying, you have to drown me, or Samara actually has a demon in her and is like getting into her brain and telling her that you need to do this. So Samara may actually be a decent person, like a decent kid. It's the demon inside. Then it says, Samara was eventually adopted by Anna and Richard Morgan and taken to live on their horse ranch on Mosquito Island. So that would be Grudge 1 and 2. However, as she grew older, Samara's powers began to develop and grow, unintentionally frightening her parents by burning images into their minds. The island's doctor sent them to Eola County Psychiatric Hospital for treatment. Anna was treated for depression and suicidal thoughts, whilst Samara was treated differently, examined and observed for hours on end. She displayed. So I'm guessing the Anna is the woman in the original cursed video that we see combing the hair. And she's the one who commits suicide off the mountain. Okay, hours on end. She displayed her psychic powers by burning images on transparency materials and film. Dr. Scott interviewed Samara, who responded that Richard plans to leave her in the hospital. Dr. Scott eventually died, likely killed by Samara's powers. On the contrary, Richard eventually had Anna and Samara discharged and took them back to the ranch. So the adoptive dad, took Samara back to the ranch and the wife. To prevent Samara from harming anyone, Richard moved her into the ranch's barn, turning the top floor into her isolated bedroom with a ladder, which we see in the video, as the only means of access. Left alone, Samara had only a television set for company. Why she comes out of a TV. She also burnt an image of a tree onto the wall, which is in the video, hidden behind wallpaper. Samara was awakened at night by the ranch horses. Out of anger and jealousy, Samara mentally attacked the horses with her, kind of psychic powers. I'm not sure what this word is, but with her powers. The horses went insane and commit suicide by jumping off the cliff. We do see a dead horse in the cursed video. Their corpses found on the beach below. At least 27 horses died, and the newspapers called it an epidemic. Anna was overcome with grief by the deaths and was sent back to the psychiatric facility for several days. The ranch was walled in for 5 weeks by health experts, but they could not find any source of the deaths, unaware of Samara's presence. So I guess the dad never let anybody know that she was there. Okay, so I'm just going to finish up the part with Samara here, because then it gets into the ring 2 and stuff. Anna was released from the hospital 5 days later to escape the chaos, and the family visited Shelter Mountain Inn. Anna revealed ulterior motives for going to the mountain. One sunny day, Samara stood before an old stone well, admiring a tree on a hilltop when Anna appeared behind her. Commenting on how beautiful the place was, she suddenly produced a black plastic garbage bag, and suffocated Samara with it, and then knocked her out with a rock. Apologizing to Samara, a little late for that, Anna pushed her down the well. Recovering quickly, Samara awoke to witness Anna sealing in her well. Anna committed suicide moments after by jumping off of a cliff. So I guess everything added up to the horses, all that stuff, including Samara, killing or, putting her kid and the adopted child into the well. She jumped off the cliff, which is in the video. It is unknown if Richard was aware that Anna planned to kill Samara, but returned to the ranch alone. Samara spent the next 7 years trying to escape the well by scaling the walls, only to fall and break off her fingernails and fingertips in the process. So we see that in the movie. Excuse me. She eventually drowned on the seventh day. Seven. However, her spirit lingered on, longing for help and attention. A set of rental cables were built around the area. Cabin 12 built on top of the well, with a TV and a VCR placed right above the well. Samara managed to transfer her abilities and likely her own spirit onto a blank video cassette, creating the curse of the videotape. So in Rings, they mentioned that they brought the body back to Sacrament Valley. So I don't know if this is just an excuse, it's like convenience of writing, that they didn't know, like, oh crap, somehow we got to get the body back. So we're just going to say that the body was brought back to Sacrament Valley, where the blind priest and everything is. This I did find on, if you're interested at all, it's the Ring Movies wiki on fandom. I just Googled, I don't know if you can see it or not, but yeah, so it's fandom, the Ring Movies on wiki, and then it talks about Samara Morgan, and then it just goes into the history of her, then the history of the films. So it's really too long to read for this. I mean, this would be like a 2-hour video. So so I guess it kind of matches. The history of her seems to work. I'm just not completely buying into the whole bringing the body back to Sacrament Valley. Then, so Galen Burke, that's I guess the dad, but if from reading off of what was just on here, we're hearing that Burke raped Evelyn, but she was already pregnant. So technically he's not the dad, I guess. I don't know, because it doesn't say that he raped her, then Evelyn got pregnant, then she went to the hospital, and then they ended up with like the nuns and stuff. So that's kind of weird. I don't know about that. There's stuff with Gabriel that where he's bringing them information. He won't say it over the phone. I don't know why he won't say what the information is. We do find out later what it is. I guess they listen to another voicemail, but he's coming to them with this information that he's collected, and I guess he's telling them that her hand is Braille. One of the things I felt was kind of annoying is Julia keeps putting herself into these positions where Holt has to constantly save her. And she's almost hit by a truck while looking at the bird. She is, there's just all these things where if she wasn't so reckless and so hard-headed and just thinks that she knows everything, because even Gabriel laughs at her, when she makes comments to him. She just, I mean, God, she just comes off as so, I don't know, just so pretentious and just such a know-it-all. It's almost frustrating. And I wish that it wasn't that way. I wish that her character was a little better. And plus, she has to keep being saved by her boyfriend. I mean, that's kind of annoying also at the same time. Then, yeah, so wrote down, why does Julia think she knows so much? And she's always wrong. It's like, and I'm not really meaning like she seems to know too much about the Samara stuff, from a vision that she sees birds flying, and then she sees birds flying in real life, and she goes, that's where we have to go. We have to go to that part of the cemetery. And I don't know if this is just writer's convenience to just kind of get her from A to B, but a lot of the stuff that she talks about like the experiment and Gabriel and Holt and all of this, she seems to be incredibly judgmental without knowing anything, and I find that to be frustrating. I don't. It's kind of it's definitely her flaw, her character flaw. Then and this is something that I do find also a little confusing, is, we get this history that Samara was brought back to the town, and then I guess Burke took her body and sealed it into a wall, because when Julia finds it, she's all bones. And then Julia burns the bones, thinking, okay, everything's cool. You're free now. You're good. Everything is happy. And Holt comments to her, you were never afraid of her. You were very strong. You were never afraid of her. And it's almost like, I don't know, I just kind of feel like this, like the third act of the movie maybe is just a little writer's convenience. There's nothing to really link Julia to Samara. Now, I don't know if maybe her mother being sick or the father dying has anything to do with it, but that's missing from the film. So unless you watched the Blu-ray, you wouldn't know. I don't know what the link is. And I find that to be weird. I don't want a Michael Myers sister thing going on, because I always thought that was the dumbest thing ever in the whole Halloween series. I'm glad they did cut that out. But there has to be something. There has to be something there. I don't know. Maybe Julia is just pure good. She's just an angel or something. And that's why Samara wants to somehow have some sort of connection. It's just very bizarre that it's just never explained, because why wouldn't she then link up to somebody else? Why not Sky? Why not, but maybe it's because like Holt says, you were never afraid of her. So that's why the link is there, while all the other people kind of freaked out. I don't know. It's kind of odd. It's kind of a mystery. It's something that I'd actually like to ask the writer. And I don't know, maybe one day I will. Maybe I'll have the chance of meeting one of them. Then, after they burn the bodies, that then cuts back to Julia. She's taking a shower. Holt's in like, I don't know, the living room or bedroom or something. And they, and Gabriel dies in a car crash. We just see him die in a car crash, or the car crash has already happened. And that's when Julia and Holt find him and grab more of like this box that he has full of files. We don't know really how this accident happens. Was it just a freak accident that the tree fell and a couple cars crashed? Was it Samara who crashed him off the road? We don't know. It's never answered. It's never talked about. All we see is that he's in a car accident. There's a couple other crash cars. He's pinned in to his car because it's flipped upside down. And then a telephone pole falls and electrocutes him. And then he's dead. And then Holt has the box of stuff that we saw him gathering, which I thought was weird, because I don't think the police would let them take that. I think that the police would keep that. So I don't know. Did he sneak it out from the car? I don't know, but it's weird. But anyways, so with the ending, so Julia gets out of the shower, and then she's messing with she starts coughing, and she's pulling hair out of her mouth over and over and over and over and over and over. And it's Samara's hair. And she's kind of freaking out while coughing. She pulls out something that's about the size of like a golf ball that's connected to the hair. It falls to the ground and a fly pops out of it. And then we see, Julia's at the mirror. She's kind of just stone faced. And when she wipes the mirror in the movie, she wipes it, and we clearly see in the reflection Samara. So Julia is now Samara. So Samara, I'm guessing, has entered, or that demon or whatever has entered her body, has like taken over her soul or brain or whatever. In the alternate version, it's very clear of what happens. And maybe this is why it's cut. So all of that is there. She does the wipe, but we don't see the full wipe. You just get the edge of Samara. And then Holt is at the computer, and all of a sudden, all these emails are being sent to like thousands of people with Julia's cursed video attached. And you can see people responding and saying, oh, what is this? It's cool. Oh, this is creepy. Oh, wow, this is awesome. Oh, I need to share this. So the video's been sent out to like 1,000 friends, who send it out to like 1,000 friends, who send it out to 1,000 friends. And Colt's freaking out like, no. And then we see Julia walk up behind him. And what I find funny is in the shower, she's just wearing a towel. When we see her walk out, she has some sort of top on, might be like a dress or a skirt or something, or maybe just a shirt. Maybe she's in like shirt and, underwear or something, but it has a lace going down it. So if Samara is now in Julia's body, I guess she must be concerned with that type of thing, because she would have dropped the towel, gone to the bedroom, picked out a shirt, put that shirt on, and then walked out to the living room while Holt's freaking out with all the emails and going, she goes, don't look back, which is a reference from the beginning of the film. And so maybe that's the new, 7 days. I don't know. But she says, don't look back. And of course, he looks back. And that's when you see, like the video or like the camera like zooms in on his eye. And he's like, ah. And then I guess he dies. So I guess Julia is the new Samara if they were to make Rings 2, Rings Again. It rang, but it's busy. So that's pretty much where it ends. And I thought that was an interesting, is they cut it to leave it a little open. But then the extended one shows that full ending. I kind of like both in a way, but maybe keeping it a little bit more open is better. And that is it for my notes. That's pretty much it. I think that's kind of it for the whole video. So I recommend Rings. Pick up this copy. Don't pick up so you can watch it on Blu-ray. Please do that. And if you happen to be in a Goodwill, look for this. This is fun. I think it's kind of cool. I have it on, it's actually on display on my shelf. And I probably will buy, if I find more of these, I'll pick them up just to collect them. Why not? I mean, they're pretty cheap. They're only like a couple bucks. And then if you want to have real fun, you can make your own ring tape or cursed videotape. And you could do that. Check out Rings on YouTube. Like I said, I'll put a link for it down below, but if you happen to find it, pick it up. This is a rarity. It's out of print, of course, and because it was done in 2005. So definitely, pick it up. I actually never told you what was inside. So we have the front, we got the back, then we got the side, but inside is a ticket. So here's the video or the DVD, which I like. It's got the you're looking up from the well, so it's got the ring on there. So I think they did a good job with that. And then they give you a free ticket to go see Ring 2. This is Hollywood Movie Money. So that's what it looks like. And then the back of it is that. So anything inside? Oh, then it tells, so it's done like a check. See, like a check. And tells you all the places you could use it. And I think there was something else in here. Oh, and then they just give you a thing to advertise their movies with. But yeah, I'm glad I grabbed this. I'm glad I thought about that because I wanted to show that to you. I think that I remember the days of Movie Money. I went to a few films with this. That was fun. I don't think they do it anymore. Expires April 3rd, 2005. So I wonder if this came out on like April Fool's Day, and then you could use it for like 3 days, and then it expired after that. What does it say? So valid for one admission up to $10.50 to see The Ring 2 in the United States only. And then it gives a code. It's like a bank listing. Paid to the order of authorized movie theater. It's technically worth $0. Maximum amount would be $10.50 for the movie. And then there's a note to the theater manager. Theater manager, write in only your prevailing adult or child admission price. Any other amount constitutes fraud. So I guess maybe you're supposed to write in like $10.50 here, $5 or whatever it is. So you could use it up to $10.50. Why would you want to take a kid to this? It says adult or child. Why would you take a child to The Ring 2? Weird. I guess some people do. I mean, I've seen Saw movies, Chucky movies, all that, where people bring their kids to it because I guess they can't find a babysitter, but okay, whatever. And then this is good. I mean, if you like DVDs, this is a good collection to have. Rings is probably my favorite of the three, so that's why I wanted that on Blu-ray. And then I could just have these on DVD is fine with me, and on VHS. Maybe this came out of VHS at some time. I'll have to check. Maybe I can see if I can find a VHS of this. But this is worth picking up too. Basically because it's just got all the movies individually. I mean, that's great right there. Like I said, I think I picked this up for pretty cheap. I think it was like $7.99. So yeah. So I think that's about it. I think that's my deconstruction of Rings. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah. Oh, and I want to point out something. This video is coming out a little bit late. Actually, it's a little bit rushed because for the last week, I've been working on some film sets. I worked on a film, two films actually, with Joe Lujan. One is the Immortal Wars, DK's Paradox. And so I worked crew on that, but I'm in it. But I didn't act that day for that. I was just working crew. And I also worked with Tom Devlin, who's a special effects artist who is out here in Boulder City. He has Tom Devlin's Monster Museum, and he also has Fright Zone. And he is directing a film right now. I can't really say too much about it, except that it's very bloody. And so I got to work with him as an actor for one night. And then James Blasimo was out here, and he was shooting Bite School 2. And I got to be in that, which was great. I know James from Facebook, but never met him before this. And that was a great experience. In fact, that's my face mask. I played 3 different characters in his film. And that was one of them. That's actually supposed to be a vampire mask. It just was put on my face. And I asked them, please don't just rip it off. Like, try to get it off so I could keep it. And it was sticky enough from it being on my face that it just stuck right to the wall. So I'm like, I'll just put it right there. Why not? So that was fun. And that I worked, like I said, like 3 characters. So I was primarily an actor on that, but I helped him when he needed it. If he needed something, I grabbed it for him. And And so that was a really great experience. That was fun. And then Drew Marvick was there, and because he's also in Bite School too. So it was great to work with him, and he was acting on set. So this past week has been a little slow as far as videos are coming out with. So I'll try to get some new stuff up next week. Might be delayed by a couple days, few days, or whatever it is, just because it's, you know, Halloween, and I'm going to a Halloween party tonight. And then tomorrow, the whole day will just be watching Halloween movies, or just horror films in general. But next week I should have some stuff up, I hope. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. So worked on three to four, technically, awesome films with awesome filmmakers and actors. And I want to thank all of them for letting me, work on their projects. So guess that's it. And I will talk with everybody soon. Once again, thank you for watching Rings Deconstruction. Maybe I'll do some more later on down the road. And because I do want to look at the Pulse movies, the one that I have, that's the original, and then the 3 films that were made in America. So I guess that's it. All right, everybody. Thanks again. And have a great Halloween. Please be safe. And I will talk with you later. Bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out after the video. And thank you for watching the very first Dark Park Films sponsored video. And who is that sponsor? Well, I've now learned if I do this with my hands, they go to the right area. There we go. That would be Wildlife Command Center Coffee. And you can purchase it right there. You can go to their website, which is BUYWCC.com, and pick up their coffee. They have 2 blends, which I'm going to show you now. The first coffee is this one right here. This is a breakfast blend. It's 10 ounces, and it is a medium ground. And it does say, and it's breakfast, like I said, and this is what it says right here. It says, early bird can catch the worm. So there you go, a breakfast blend coffee that helps you catch the worm in the morning. And I really like this one. I'm more of a breakfast kind of blend coffee guy in the morning. So this one I really like. It has that little bit of oomph to it to kind of get you moving, get you up and out. And so I really enjoy this one, but that doesn't mean that I don't like the other one, which is this one right here. This is a dark roast. It is also 10 ounces. And both of these are $7.99 at their website. Pretty good price for 10 ounces worth of ground coffee. This one is, it's a little darker. So it's, I think it's better for drinking at night. Maybe if you're, writing a screenplay, or if you're filming, this has got that oomph, that double punch to get you going. So this is one that I also recommend. I like both of these quite a bit, but I kind of do, the breakfast in the morning and then the dark more at night. So I recommend both of these quite a bit. And how did I find out about these two, these 2 coffees here? And how did I find out about Wildlife Command Center? Well, when I was working on Night of the Zomghouls, there was a box of coffee that was just sitting there, filled with coffee. And we didn't know what to do with it. Like, whose is this? Who brought it? Why is it here? And so we just kept going to the store and buying coffee. And then one day I said, why don't we just get the coffee out of the box and use that instead of, wasting money on going to Smith's or whatever and picking up coffee. So we did. We did not realize that it was the Wildlife Command Center coffee, and that it, was sponsoring the movie. And it was great coffee. Everybody loved it. And we just went right through it. By the last day of filming, this coffee was gone. And I went and found out, about Wildlife Command Center, asked if they would like to be a sponsor for Dark Park Films, for their coffee. As many of you know, I love coffee. I love coffee mugs. And so this was a perfect match. And Wildlife Command Center is great with animals. So they provide a great service for rescuing animals. So it's kind of that double whammy for me, where coffee, helping animals, you can't go wrong. And they were even cool enough to send me, get in there, a coffee mug, because they knew that I liked coffee mugs. And right now, I don't get that. A little bit. I'm going to go on the keyboard, but that's their dark blend, because I'm recording this at night. So I am actually drinking that while recording. Also, one thing that you can get at their website, which is cool, is you can get this. There you go. This pocket knife, which is $9.49. And this is pretty cool because it has their name on it. Wildlife Command Center, we can catch it. And this is what it looks like. Put that down there. There we go. Fully out. So you're getting like the bottle opener, you got the corkscrew, you got a screwdriver, you got a blade, and then you got this little hook thing that you could pop it into something that doesn't have a tab, and then the liquid or whatever in there will come out. So this is pretty cool. And I'm just going to keep mine in my car, because you never know. You might need a pocket knife. So please support them. I'm going to have links down below, where you can, check out just the Wildlife Command Center. I'll also have a link for Wildlife Command Center coffee. And it will basically be for both these guys right here. And please support them. I support them. I think what they do is pretty awesome. And, maybe this coffee will be on your set or in your kitchen. It will definitely be, on my set, in my kitchen. I know that. So please, once again, I'm going to show you these. Please go to their website and pick up their coffee and make it part of your day or night, depending on which one you like. So that'll be about it. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, so thank you. And once again, please support my channel. Please support the Wildlife Command Center, and I will catch you later. Bye.